Unang-una, I mean, just taking a look at the timing of this press conference, ang sabi ni VP Sara kanina na I promised the reporters a sit-down interview and now I'm actually going here to explain to you several issues, and that was an hour long, more than an hour long. I mean, is this a diversionary tactic, and what is the Vice President trying to do here? Napakaanghang ng mga salita niya, talagang may pangil sa Tagalog. Who would like to start off?
Ronald, you want to go first?
The Vice President never fails to amaze me. Pero this long press conference or interview brings my amazement to a new level. Kaya medyo naghahanap tayo ng logic sa kanyang mga sinabi. Baka hindi natin dapat gawin yon. Dapat ma-amaze na lang tayo. No? Siyempre, pinaliwanag niya yung medyo alam na natin. Yung dahilan niya, kung ano nangyari, bakit siya tumakbo, sino kumbinsi sa kanya. Although in-emphasize niya na halos naglumuhod sa kanya yung presidential sister para kumbinsihin siyang mag-vice president. No? Halos nagmakaawa sa kanya para siya ay tumakbo. At meron siyang ginawang kondisyon na medyo alam na rin natin na hiningi niya yung defense portfolio. Kung ako naman yung presidente, ba't ko ibibigay yung defense portfolio sa aking unpredictable Vice President na usually ay unhinged, no? Kaya itong interview na ito brings being unhinged again to a new level, no? Baka kung itong kanyang interview at saka press con ay nangyari 2 weeks later sa Halloween, baka mas understandable, no? Kaso medyo napaaga no, before Halloween, no, na huhukayin niya yung cadaver ni Ferdinand Marcos at itatapon sa West Philippine Sea. Medyo even for her ay medyo nakakagulat yung ganitong klaseng morbid statement. Of course, marami pa siyang sinabi. Ako ay medyo interested. Anong sagot ni Aimee nung sinabi kay Aimee yon, no? At ano yung layunin ni Manny Villar para warningan si Sara? Dahil yung mga Villar kasi bahagi ngayon ng administration no? At marami pa. Katulad ng 5 beses yata siya nag-BS, no? Nagmura dun sa press ko na yun. No?
I think more than 5.
It's really amazing. No?
Can I hazard an answer what I think Aimee would say? I think
sige,
Aimee would
Richard.
ask, kamusta yung jet ski ng tatay digong mo sa West Philippine Sea? So siguro habol na yung jet ski.
Richard, hindi daw nag-reply. Hindi daw nag-reply.
Yeah, I think West Philippine Sea is where the tatais end up. So I think that's definitely, I think it's really a combination of things. No, on one hand, I think this is about Sara Duterte once again being a poor copy of her father, this kind of a method in the madness, kind of saying, oh, sige, all chips are down, gusto niya ako impeach, let's go for it. So I think there's definitely that aspect, except she didn't pull it off good enough as usual, because she never had the spontaneity of her father, no? But I think there's also an element of she's feeling the pressure. I think there's some people, including Senator Trillanes, openly questioning, let's just say, her mental acuity or stability at this point in time. I won't go that far, but I think she's feeling the pressure. A while ago with Congressman Chua, I mean, he couldn't make sense out of the numbers. I mean, there's not even plausible deniability. Sobrang, I don't know if I can say the word booking, na there are irregularities in her expenditures. But I think now that all of that is coming out, she's really feeling the pressure. And you can see why Sara Duterte did not run for the presidency. She deep inside knew national politics is perhaps above her level. And now those vulnerabilities are definitely coming out.
You don't, Richard, let me stay with you for a sec. You don't think it worked? You don't think she pulled it off? I mean, like, there are a few things there that I imagine would really resonate with her base. For instance, the fact that she said she felt used. Alam naman natin lahat that before she slid down to the VP race, President Bongbong Marcos' numbers weren't that great. So yes, they could attribute the win to her, to the unit team, right? So I imagine some of those things that she said would have resonated. But you, on the whole, you don't think she pulled it off?
No, I
doubt it very much. No? Even with her base. No?
Talaga? Okay.
Pero
Tingin ko,
Ronald, Ronald,
yung base niya will be on the defensive, no? Pag kinakausap ng mga kapitbahay. Ano ba nangyari dyan sa idol nyo? Ba't ganyan sumagot? Bakit ganyan yung mga sinasabi? Tingin ko, even with her base, mahihirapan silang i-defend yung kanilang idol, yung kanilang leader.
But what's the
No?
difference
Kaya
between the father
I
and
doubt
the
if
daughter?
she was able to pull it off. Definitely.
And Ronald, this is a
Okay, go ahead, Richard. Sige, go.
shrinking base, no? So if you look at the surveys, there's a reason why not a single Duterte ran for the Senate, right? Few mga tatakbong bilang senador. Now, not even a
Yes.
single one of them is running for the Senate. So base shrinking, you cannot just sing to the convince and the choir. You have to play the mainstream game. And I think Sara is really failing to reach out to the rest of the electorate who have been alienated or are losing
Yes.
confidence in the
Yes.
Dutertes.
Well, usually binabanggit natin, o katulad ng binanggit ni Richard kanina, a method in their madness. Halimbawa, nung tinawag niyang tambaluslos si Speaker, no? Halimbawa, nung sinabi niya na tatakbo yung 3 Duterte sa Senado, na malinaw naman hindi mangyayari. It was to change the narrative, no? It was to turn the tables doon sa kanyang mga kalaban, no? Katulad nung kanyang pagharap sa budget hearing sa Congress. Pero ngayon kasi dito sa kanyang ginawang interview, ang nakikita ko lamang, wala akong nakitang method eh. Ang nakita ko lamang ay madness. No? Kaya siguro kinokorek ko lang si Richard na
The
wala akong
madness
nakikitang
is the method.
in the madness.
Madness is the method. Yeah.
Before nakikita mo yan eh. Digong, sa brother, sa kanya. Ngayon, halos totally, there is no longer any method in the madness. No? Hindi ko naman sinasabi na siya ay mad. Pero borderline.
Richard, you got cut off earlier, but what were you saying before?
Nasabotage yata ako eh. Yeah, I was about to go to my punchline that maybe the madness is the method. But for me, the fundamental thing is, the Duterte's road to success back in the day was strategic innovation, right? Element of surprise. And I think they were able to harvest a lot of political capital from that. But look from 2015 and now we're heading to 2025, I don't see much of new innovation. And I don't see also much of strategic learning. It seems that they're not learning anything new. They're still the same iPhone 1 that was hot back in the day, but it's not improving anymore. So I think that's the situation we're seeing right now. But I think the biggest issue here is hubris. I think this is where you say, they say the fish rots from the head. I mean, from the father alone, you could see the level of hubris that he cannot still accept that they're no longer the dominant political dynasty in the Philippines. In fact, I recently corrected an article I wrote. I said, this is the fight between the two most powerful dynasties. And then I suddenly realized, no, actually, I don't think Dutertes are the second most powerful. I think the Remullas are at least more powerful. They have 2 cabinet members, maybe the Villars. So I think the Dutertes are being kicked down the pecking order, but they cannot just psychologically accept that. They cannot really psychologically accept that. And that psychological block is really preventing them from making the strategic adjustments and recalibrations that they need in order to stay in this race. So you're right, they're singing to their base, but that base is already shrinking. I mean, you cannot be a national force kung hanggang Davao ka lang. You have to be, they're not even a force in Mindanao anymore, right? I mean, as Ronald pointed out, it's a different platform. And the idea is that when Duterte said Mindanao wants to separate, no one supported him in Mindanao. So now Duterte's base is so shrunken that he cannot even speak for Mindanao. Forget about being a national level dynasty of fort.
I wonder what really got the irk of Vice President Sara
Hindi ko rin alam
Duterte to hold
kung anong
this
multiverse.
to hold this press conference. Was it the comment of President Marcos that he felt deceived, or was he deceived? Parang doon ba siya sobrang nainis? Or is it because they feel they have nothing to lose now, given the parallel events, the Quadcom hearings, the threat of the ICC, also this Good Governance Committee in the House? I mean, which is
And
it?
Gretchen, the handshake. Lenny and BBM saying we're in a reconciliation mode, right? Napansin nyo, yung meeting with Sara, there was no picture released. But the meeting between BBM and Lenny, very charming, very public, very demure, very mindful. So I think the Dutertes are realizing they're increasingly isolated and marginalized, right?
VP
If BBM
Sara,
can
though-
openly say
Yeah.
reconciliation with the opposition, although of course Lenny had her own caveats and all. I mean, if you're Duterte, you're right. I mean, you're really, really against the wall right now, and they're lashing out.
She did say multiple times though about deception, yung deception. Anong deception? She must have used that word also more than 5 times kanina. And then yesterday, of course, that House Good Governance Committee hearing. Or maybe it's all of the above. Ronald?
Yes, doon nga sa question ni Gretchen, ang sagot ko doon, it's all, probably all of the above. Pero syempre, mas hurt siya doon sa statement ng presidente na usually very passive-aggressive, usually conflict-averse. Pero dito ay nag-spend ng time para sagutin siya.
Pero nauna na siya, Ronald eh. She said hindi naman kami friends. It was just for the elections, di ba?
Kaya nga,
First time
pero
sila
nag-spend siya ng time
nag-head-to-head,
doon sa
ano?
interview para ipaliwanag na marami ba siyang oras? Ano? Ba't kinakailangan niyang pag-usapan yung kanya nararamdaman? No, etc. Tapos wag niyong kalimutan during that interview, 3 beses niyang bilanggit na hindi siya nagko-cocaine.
Oh, yes.
What was that? What was that for, no? Ibig sabihin talagang medyo galit siya, no? Natatawa lang ako anong multiverse siya nandun nung sinabi niya na yung kanyang tatay ay hindi nanggigipit. Yung tatay niya ay hindi ginigipit, si Vice President Lenny, hindi tinanggal sa posisyon. Of course, tinanggal sa posisyon as drug czar pagkatapos i-appoint. At syempre, hindi daw ginigipit yung mga kaalyado ni Lenny. Yung 7 taon ni Laila de Lima sa kulungan na lahat ng mga testigo ay umatras. Yung ba ay hindi panggigipit? Yung more than 35,000 na namatay sa extrajudicial killings. Kung hindi panggigipit yun, hindi ko alam kung anong tawag doon. Genocide, katulad sa Gaza, saka sa Lebanon, no? Baka nga mas marami pang namatay kesa sa Gaza, no? Dito sa tokhang natin. So, hindi ko alam kung anong multiverse nakatira si Vice President para i-volunteer yung ganong idea na yung kanyang tatay ay hindi nanggigipit. Dapat iwas ka na ron You make yourself vulnerable. O kaya amazed ako dun sa interview niya kahapon.